The cold, unforgiving skies over Alaska hide more than just turbulent winds. Somewhere between the clouds and the icy terrain below, a deadly game of deception, survival, and justice unfolds. A dangerous mission begins. Madeline Harris, Michelle Dockery, is a seasoned U.S. Marshal, known for her sharp instincts and unyielding sense of duty. But when she's assigned to escort a high-profile witness, Winston, Topher Grace, across the country, she has no idea just how deadly this mission will become. Winston isn't just any witness. He's the key to taking down one of the most dangerous criminal organizations in America, the Moretti crime family. He has numbers, names, transactions, evidence that could put powerful people behind bars for life. That also makes him a walking target. The safest way to transport Winston? A private flight through the treacherous Alaskan wilderness, far from prying eyes. But in a world of corruption, nowhere is truly safe. The flight from hell. The plane is small, barely big enough for its few passengers. Madeline, Winston, and their pilot, Daryl Booth, Mark Wahlberg. At first, everything seems normal. The plane takes off, the Alaskan mountains stretch endlessly below, and Winston, visibly nervous, fidgets with his seatbelt. He knows that if anything goes wrong, he's a dead man. Then something does go wrong. Winston notices something off about the pilot. His badge doesn't match the face in front of him. His accent slips ever so slightly, and then it hits him. This isn't Daryl Booth. The real Booth is dead, and the man flying their plane is an imposter. A professional assassin sent to make sure Winston never makes it to court. Winston panics, trying to warn Madeline, but she's locked into protocol, dismissing his paranoia until it's too late. The assassin pulls a weapon mid-flight, turning the plane into a death trap thousands of feet in the air. A fight for survival in the sky's chaos erupts. In the confined space of the cockpit, Madeline and the imposter struggle for control. The plane jolts, turbulence mixes with the vicious fight. And Winston, despite being a civilian, is forced to defend himself. He's no fighter, but adrenaline and fear push him to act. A single gunshot. The bullet shatters the windshield, depressurizing the cabin. The plane dips violently. The assassin is momentarily distracted, giving Madeline the opening she needs. A swift move, a brutal strike, and the imposter is out cold. But the danger is far from over. The controls are failing. The plane is losing altitude fast. With no pilot, no guidance, and nothing but wilderness below, Madeline has to do something she's never done before: land a plane. A desperate landing. Madeline makes contact with emergency services, but she's met with unexpected resistance. Something isn't right. Someone high up wants this plane to go down. They can't trust anyone. Meanwhile, Winston, bleeding from a wound sustained in the scuffle, fights to stay conscious. If they crash, he won't survive. Enter Hassan, a local Alaskan pilot who picks up their distress call. Through broken communication, he gives Madeline step-by-step instructions to bring the plane down. It's rough, the landing gear fails, but somehow, against all odds, they make it. The plane skids across the frozen tundra, coming to a violent stop. They're alive, but not safe. The real enemy revealed. As they step out into the freezing cold, they realize they've traded one deadly situation for another. Armed men are already approaching. The plane was never meant to land. It was meant to disappear. And now Winston and Madeline are stranded in the middle of nowhere with killers closing in fast. The shocking truth is revealed. The corruption isn't just within the Moretti family. The person orchestrating this hit is someone inside the system. Deputy Director Coleridge. He's been on Moretti's payroll for years, and Winston's testimony would expose him. He was the one who made sure the wrong pilot got on board. He was the one who blocked their distress call. And now he's making sure there are no survivors. But Madeline isn't about to let that happen. Final showdown in the ice. What follows is an intense cat-and-mouse game in the frozen wilderness. Low on ammo, exhausted, and battling the elements, Madeline and Winston have to outthink their pursuers. Using whatever they can find, they set up a final stand near an abandoned outpost. Winston, despite his fear, refuses to go down without a fight. He's no longer just a witness. He's fighting for his life. One by one, the assassins fall, but Coleridge isn't going to let them win. Just as he's about to deliver the final blow, Madeline turns his own corruption against him. She secretly recorded his confession over their scrambled radio line, broadcasting it to emergency responders. Within minutes, helicopters descend on their location. The tables turn. Coleridge is arrested. Winston is safe. Justice is served, but at a cost. The ordeal isn't over. Winston, barely holding on, is airlifted to safety. Madeline, bruised but victorious, watches as Coleridge is taken away in cuffs. She knows the system is still flawed. Corruption still runs deep. But today, they won. As the sun rises over the icy Alaskan horizon, Madeline takes a deep breath. She isn't just a marshal anymore. She's a survivor, a fighter, and a woman who refused to back down. And somewhere in a high-security prison cell, a former deputy director realizes the flight he tried to erase has only made history. Flight Risk is a gripping, edge-of-your-seat thriller that explores corruption, survival, and the fight for justice in the most extreme conditions.